Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video I'd like to discuss the very serious situation that is happening with British farms and, as a result, by extension, British food supplies. And all according to a crisis which is not Brexit related right now, is exactly what Brexit supporters have been calling for. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, then please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification icon. So, sorry if this item seems to be cropping up a bit on the channel recently, but food supplies are very important. In fact, there are some scientists who think that food is essential to our continued breathing in many respects, and some of it is under threat. So let's go through this sequentially. Brexit supporters tell us migrants are nicking British jobs. People with brains tell them that there aren't enough British workers for those jobs. That's why economic migration exists. And it all goes round in circles. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, yes, it is. Big old pantomime. Then, very recently, Priti Patel, the largely absent Home Secretary, who occasionally reminds us how great it is that she is the absent Home Secretary by coming out into public and opening her mouth. So she announces new immigration plans a couple of months ago that mean even greater shortage in the NHS, because apparently that's great. Hospitality sector, because apparently knackering the economy is also fantastic, and amongst other things, and typically at the moment, farming, because apparently knackering food supplies is also brilliant. Now, British farms rely on 70,000 seasonal workers to pick fruit and veg every year. No problem, say the Brexiteers. British workers can do those jobs at last. But I said that they don't. There was nothing to stop them before. They don't do it. Many can't because they don't live near the farms. Farms do tend to be tucked away somewhat. Don't be silly, they said. You just wait until the end of the transition period that these immigration plans are implemented. Then you'll see, just trust us. Well, it turns out we didn't have to wait quite so long as any of us really imagined. What with the coronavirus crisis, we are unable to get the 70,000 workers from overseas into the country to do these jobs. Apparently we have about 20 to 25,000 according to the government, which is impressive enough, all things considered, but that often required farmers to have to pay for flights to get them in the country. And of course that's not to say there are no British workers on these farms as well. But we are still tens of thousands short, and I mean now. Sometimes it's been reported, we need these workers for June. Well, that's when peak harvesting starts, but we don't have enough right now. This harvesting has already started. It's been going for a little while. It's continuing now. We need more than we already have. And we're short. So that means food is already going to waste, I gather. So where are all the British workers that we were told would be able to do these jobs? And also, add into this is what we're going to be told next year. Bear in mind that unemployment has shot up as a result of this crisis. And also, the government are suggesting that even furloughed workers, these are people who've got jobs and they're just being retained. They can't do their jobs, so they're just at home at the moment on reduced pay. That the government have been, working out ways of letting them do these jobs without getting into any bother with their normal job. In other words, this crisis means that there has never been a larger British workforce available for these farming jobs, and there never will be again. There will not be this time next year. So where are they? It is literally the easiest time to get British workers into those jobs. Where are they? Because despite several campaigns, which were really successful, they just haven't materialised. 50,000 British workers applied for these jobs. I mean, you can't say that's not successful. The campaigns, have been brilliant. Well done to the people who organised them. They definitely got the word out and generated interest. The problem is that it's out of 50,000 people who've expressed an interest, go, yeah, I'd be up for this. How many have we got out of it? You don't expect to get 100% conversion rate, of course not. But how many out of 50,000 have we got? 25,000? That'd still be short, but that'd be a lot better. 10,000? 5,000? 1,000? 100? Yeah, about that. 112. 112 British workers. Some of whom will not, of course, continue for the rest of the season. And based on past experience, you'd think most of them won't, because past experiences, a lot of British workers who do take these jobs don't turn up for day 2. So how did 50,000 turn into just 112 actual workers on a field? Did the other applicants get turned down? No. And before I go over the numbers, this was reported in the Telegraph, a pro-Brexit, pro-Tory newspaper, fanatically so. Out of the 50,000 applicants, only 6,000 actually even accepted the offer of a video interview. So 44,000 just buggered off. They showed an interest, and when they were offered an interview, they went, actually, that means bending down and picking things up. Nah, you're all right, mate. So they were just, 44,000 were just drunken boasts that went no further. And of those 6,000 who did accept the interview, only 112 accepted the offer of work. The rest either turned it down because it sounded like too much like hard work. They realised it was too far to travel. Again, like I was saying, if you don't live near a field, you ain't going to be able to do this work. They realised that actually it wasn't too far to travel, but they would have to travel and they couldn't be asked to travel. They had care responsibilities that mean that they couldn't do the work as well. Obviously, if you have to care for someone, you can't be out in a field. They realised that actually they've got a job and they can't fit it around that. Why did they not think of this in the first place? Or they just weren't able to commit to the working pattern over the summer months when they were needed. So quite a number of reasons that I've already been suggesting for years, with a couple of extra ones that I hadn't thought about thrown in. I'm going to confess, I did think to myself, well, actually travelling to them would be quite difficult. I'd never actually thought that even people who could travel would just go, nah, you're all right. And remember that this is a situation where the potential field of applicants is way larger than it ever has been before or ever will be again because of the unique employment situation in the country right now. What will happen when the crisis abates and unemployment drops? I mean, does that mean we're not even going to get 112? That's what you would think. And why did only 112 actually accept the work? We're told that a majority of the country support Brexit, that these guys are the true patriots. Well, if they're that patriotic, why are they so intent in watching food destined for our markets rot in the fields? That doesn't sound very patriotic to me. Granted, some of these Brexit supporters are in work and for other very valid reasons are unable to do this work in the fields. Granted. But that can't apply to all of them. And we were told by all of them, even the ones in work and couldn't do this work themselves, that there were plenty of British workers to do them. That's what we were told. Very recently, in fact. Very recently. Or is it just that Brexiteers like to rant and rave but not actually do anything? I mean, that could explain why their Brexit marches resembled less the million-strong protests of the pro-EU expressions of solidarity and more the drunken pub crawls led by Nigel Farage, who, as I said earlier today, or rather will do later today, time travel's an awkward thing on YouTube. Nigel Farage lives in Kent, the Garden of England, full of farms, full of them. Can't chuck a stone anywhere without hitting a farm, and he hasn't gone and offered to pick up fruit or veg himself. So those are just my observations anyway. Let me know yours in the comments below. I hope you found the video interesting. If you did, don't forget to click the like button, and if you'd like to support the channel further, then please also click the Patreon link for details. And until next time, I'll see you later.